What is up? So who's watching my YouTube videos? Nobody, I mean, I wouldn't say nobody ever, but hardly anybody ever comments. I found a piece of software, a very nifty piece of software that tells you who's been watching, but I thought I would ask, or at least what account has been watching. I haven't tried it yet. I'd have to download it on a different device than my phone. It doesn't work on a phone. But I thought what I would ask, because I upload stuff and I don't upload things like all the time. But I'll upload something and then there's always one person who watches it, like one view. But they don't say anything. So I don't know. Just thought I would ask. You know, before like basically invading your privacy and finding out. You know, whatever. It tells you like the account, and it doesn't, well, obviously doesn't tell you the name because people can lie about their accounts. But it says like the account name, and I think it says like what part of the world they're from. Yeah. Like, you know, what region they're in, because I don't know if it's somebody, I don't know. I don't spend that much time thinking about it, honestly. I just don't. But what was the last? Oh yes, I got cut off last night when those people pulled up. They had a baby with them. It was kind of like annoying and also sweet to listen to a baby crying. You know, go figure. So I know somebody's been following me again. And like I feel it, but like I said in the video last night, like I don't tune into it very often, so whatever. I just genuinely don't actually care. And like I've said before, it's not because I'm apathetic. It's just I'm doing other things. Ooh, today I painted my toenails. They're super pretty. I really like them. I put glitter nail polish. They're really pretty. I like them. I usually don't like glitter nail polish, but I decided I wanted to sparkle on the outside. Because I already sparkle on the inside, that's for sure. Let's see. What was I gonna say? Well, it's not like I forgot. I just wasn't sure where that was going. Has anybody else been? I know other people have, but I've been experiencing insane. I mean, it's not insane, but it seemed crazy. About a year ago, I started watching ministries. I really like turned to YouTube because I didn't want to use Twitter anymore, or X, Twixer is what I call it. But I didn't want to use Twitter anymore, and I didn't want to go to Facebook or Instagram, and you know, I mean, although I did have accounts there, which I've since abandoned all of it. I just left. I just logged out. I don't remember my passwords. I just left them. Whatever. I don't care. Again, I just don't care. And it's not that I don't care about everything. A lot of things I do care about, but I don't tend to spend a lot of time caring about things that don't matter. So I wonder if you can use this paper. I don't think so. I could try. Ooh, I think I have I wonder if you can use this paper. Does it say don't smoke this? I'm gonna use it. Oh, it doesn't have glue on it. Well, that doesn't work now, does it? So, but you know what? I really appreciate products that like give you a warning that you're about to run out. So far, I've only found 2 products that do that consistently. One being my papers, the second being my dog bags. After you get let down to like the third one, and it'll say like you have 3 dog poop bags. I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. Because I mean, I don't count what's on the roll. It's kind of hard to do that. So I think I've been licking my papers too much because they've been falling apart, like the glue part. So anyway, I turned to YouTube and I listened to a lot of ministries, like sermons and lectures, like intellectual things, and you know, like all kinds of stuff about astronomy, astrophysics, quantum mechanics, as well as like tarot card readings and all kinds of stuff. I don't actually watch them. I listen to them. I just put the, I usually turn my screen off, and because I don't mind paying YouTube to not show me ads. I just don't mind at all. Like, please don't. Thank you. But anyhow, one of the things I started realizing right away, and this was weird, because I didn't interact with anybody for a long time. Like, I hardly talked to anyone on the phone. I still hardly talk to anyone, like, on the phone or otherwise. I just don't really talk to people, like, really at all. And, there was one person I used to talk to on the phone quite a bit, but not anymore. For my own reasons. But I would interact with people. Excuse me. And this was very telling for me, because I didn't actually, I didn't have confirmation, really. I mean, I did, but, like, not really. It wasn't until I started interacting with other people more regularly and in very specific ways that I was getting really crazy. Like, to me, it was crazy. Confirmation that this is exactly what was happening. And I thought about it for a while. It seemed weird to me at first, and then I realized that it was 100% real. I couldn't make it up, and I wasn't crazy. I wasn't delusional. I wasn't any of those things, because, like, I think that a lot of us fall back on that when when things happen to us that are it's so divine, it's so from God, that we almost don't believe it. And it's not that I didn't believe God. It's that I didn't believe... I think it was that I had, like, an inferiority complex. That in some way, I didn't believe that God would talk to me so directly, so undeniably to me. I really kind of thought that God, reserved direct messaging for other people, or for, like, special occasions, or some shit. I don't even know what the fuck I thought exactly, but it stemmed from an inferiority complex. So one of the things that started happening, and I could verify it with other people if I so chose, but I didn't do that. But I tested it a number of times, like a lot, like the whole last year, basically, because I'm very diligent in my work, whether it's spiritual work, emotional work, writing, or whatever it is. I'm very, I want to make sure that I did it right, and I did it right the first time. So before I ever even told anybody that this was happening to me, I kept testing it. I kept testing it. The Lord must have been super patient with me, because it wasn't that I didn't believe God. It was that I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That's really what it was for me. That somehow, like I said, God reserved his direct communications for other people or special occasions, like, that kind of thing. And I thought, like, why would he do that, though? Why would God do that? I know God doesn't have a gender, but just for this conversation, let's call him he, and call God he. So I would interact with people, and after that interaction, I would get online. I would get on YouTube, and I'd find a tarot card reading. Literally, I wasn't picking them. I wasn't even picking which one I wanted to watch. It was just whatever came up in my feed. True story. Like, even as, as however random it seemed to me, or like off the wall, whatever, I would just pick, just hit the first one. Whatever in my feed came up in my feed. Now, you're probably not going to believe what I'm saying, That's fine. You have to have your own experience. I understand that. That, you know, life is to be experienced, especially the divine is to be experienced by us. It's not really, it's not something we can really explain to each other. I mean, it kind of is, but like, only if you're going through it too, excuse me, can you really understand it. So, like, you know, it's an experiential thing. And believe it. You know, you have to, you know, experience it to believe it. Oh, excuse me. So I would pick, you know, I would just pick whatever came up into my feed, into the YouTube feed. And lo and behold, it would be explaining not only what happened in the interaction and what that person was really thinking and really saying and feeling and everything, but it would tell what they said after we got off the phone and you know, this happened like in Twitter Spaces. This happened in a lot of different circumstances. So it's not like it was just with one person or something like that. That's not how it happened. It was across the board. I would go to the grocery store and interact with people in the store, and then the cashier, you know, checking me out, you know, checking out my purchases, and, you know, often like I'd bag them so they wouldn't have to do all the work by themselves. And it would just be, I mean, it was mind-blowing for a long time, for, you know, months and months and months, and this went on. And basically, I was fasting last year at this time in January and February and March. I mean, I was fasting a lot. And, you know, I'd go 2-3 days and not eat, and then eat, you know. I mean, it just became normal. I didn't lose a lot of weight like most, like, you know, you'd think how would happen to you. It didn't make me feel sick. None of that. So I was just, you know, fasting a lot. But it's still happening. And it's not just with tarot card readings. It's with ministries. It's with sermons. It's with whatever I choose. Whatever comes in my feed, whatever comes across my path is the telling of that story. I shit you not. Like, this blew my mind for the longest time. And I mean, I started reading tarot when I was 17. I don't pick up my tarot cards too much anymore. I had one person that was in my life who would tell me, you know, that's demonic. That's, you know, that's for the other side. And, you know, if you're for the other side, yeah, I would agree. And you're reading tarot, yes, I would agree. If you're not for the other side, then no, it's not. There's no reason, logical, spiritual, emotional, or otherwise, why God would give us gifts and then tell us. Now, I know what the Bible says about divination and sorcery and things like that. And, you know, it boggles the mind and the heart and everything else why God would give us gifts and then tell us not to use them. Or tell us that using them is demonic or satanic or any of that shit. Like, what the fuck? Now, if you're demonic or you're satanic or you're dark or whatever the fuck, I don't like using the word dark because, frankly, I love the dark. The dark, I'm very comfortable in the dark. I feel safe in the dark. So, to me, saying dark is really like giving darkness a bad rap because I love the dark. You know, I mean, so, you know, I'll stick with it. When you're evil or you're coming from a very unhealed, you know, and it is demonic. I don't really want to call it anything else. It's your demons. It's not like demons are working like on you and in you. You're letting them. See, demons are the same as God and angels. They can't work through you unless you choose to do the work. Does that make sense? God can't force us to do anything. This is why we have agency. We have free will. And even though a lot of things are predetermined, we still have the option of choosing that or not. That's how spirituality works. It's always going to work that way. We have agency. We have free will to act upon what we want or don't want. So, and when you keep that in mind and you know that neither God nor the other side can force you to do anything, and you do it of your own free will, then that also begs the question, like, how can gifts that God gives you be demonic? Or, you see what I mean? They can't be, unless you're operating in that energy. If you're operating in that energy, and yes, by the way, energy is everything, literally everything, then that's what it's going to be for you and the people around you, unfortunately. But, you know, like I said, you know, I was operating out of an inferiority complex. You know, I couldn't comprehend that this was really happening, and that it was real. And for a long time, I didn't have proof, because, like, how would I know? Because I wasn't interacting with other people, so, you know, there wasn't any, like, litmus test for me. But now, 100%, I know. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's always everything in my feed. Some things are more like I was listening to tarot card readings the other day. It wasn't yesterday, it was the night before. It wasn't last night, it was the night before. And, you know, I'm hearing, you know, if you're listening to this reading and you're seeing rainbows, and I did see a rainbow not too long ago. Of course, it was raining, so a lot of people saw that rainbow. But still, it was another sign that, you know, but I hadn't seen rainbows, plural. So I wake up the next morning, and there's, like, very few, like, sparse clouds in the sky. Very few. This happens all the time to me. It doesn't matter what it is. I get a sign. Or multiple signs, usually multiple signs. So I'm listening to, and I listened to a couple readings, I think like 3 or 4, and like short ones, and it kept coming up the rainbows thing, and I was like, okay. So, and I hadn't seen a rainbow for a couple days at least. So the next morning I wake up, and I decide to do this particular exercise that I don't always do. And so I'm laying on my back, right? And I'm looking up at the sky, and, like, there's sparse clouds, like, hardly any, but there's obviously, like, geomagnetic activity in the sky. So you could see, like, the waves were, you know, there were waves in the clouds. 2 rainbows I saw. If it talks about butterflies, I see butterflies the next day. Or I saw the butterflies the day before. It's like that. I will see some insect or some animal that I never see. And then the next reading I listen to, or the next sermon I listen to, will mention that reading, that animal. It's wild. So anyway, yesterday, somebody was definitely sending me negative energy. I know they were. And I have a good idea about who it was, too. And I choose not to call people out just because they know who they are. They 100% do. So, don't get me wrong. I will put your ass on blast. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem doing that. I'm just saying, for this particular video, that, you know, just because it's karma to, like, let people hang themselves, kind of thing. You know, because then I don't, you know, karma's a fucking bitch, so I don't have to be, kind of thing. So, and, you know, God's word says very clearly, touch not my anointed. He's not joking about that. Even as a chosen one myself, and we all are, but not all of us are operating in that energy. Some of us are so fucking karmic. Oh my God. Really bad. And I like, if you wonder at all, you know, if you're forgiven by me or others, you know, I can't really speak of others, obviously, but by me, you know, I've forgiven everything and everyone, really, truly. Doesn't mean I will ever talk to you again. Doesn't mean I will ever trust you again. There's a big difference between forgiving someone and you know, falling back into the same trap that they laid for you. I'm not doing that. You know, Psalms, I don't know which Psalm it is, but Psalms is very clear about the pit that you dug is the one that you will fall into. Not me. I didn't dig it. I don't dig pits for people, nor do I do it for myself. Have I done it? Yes. Not anymore. But somebody was sending me a lot of negative energy. A lot. Because I felt it. I mean, I really felt it. It was nasty, too. I thought it was maybe some people up here on the mountain, but I don't think it was them. I think it was somebody who was watching my videos. Because it was so personal. It was so personal. It was so vicious and disgusting, this energy. Blech. Like, if that's your energy, you'll know. You know. Ugh, gross. But it was really nasty energy. It was very superficial. It was very ugly. It was very, like, vehemently disgusting. It was just disgusting. It was nasty. And it was like hell-bent, literally bent by hell to be that way. There wasn't any niceness in it. And it lasted for a couple hours. And then I got over it. Excuse me. So, you know, you might want to double think. You might want to think twice, 3 times, however many times it fucking takes you about sending people nasty energy. Because, you know, truly when you're dealing with an alchemist, a divine, God-chosen alchemist, what do you think you're gaining from that exactly? I mean, what's the point? You do realize how much energy you give away by being angry, resentful, bitter, and fearful, correct? No? Yes? No? Well, if you don't, you might want to stop doing it. Being critical of others, too, is another way that we give away our energy. Telling the truth is different than criticism, unless it's not helpful or cathartic for anyone involved. I mean, you know, two videos ago, I think, I was, you know, telling stories about, and not stories, but telling the truth about a lot of people who had been in my life. And the truth is, I don't hold that to them. You know, maybe they were having a horrible time. I don't know. Maybe they're just going through another karmic cycle and they couldn't figure their shit out again or yet or whatever. That's not for me to judge. That's really for God to judge. It's not mine. So I don't carry it. It's not, you know. But I know someone's been following me again. I'm not going to say how I know exactly, but I do. And I know that somebody's been trying to get a hold of me. Well, I've changed my phone number a couple times due to other stalkers. Isn't that weird? Does anyone have any fucking idea how many stalker situations I've been through in the last, like, 5 years? I'm like expert stalker fucking sidestepper now. And, like, you know, also, the thing is that the more and more I've stepped into the divine plan that God has for me, the less and less you guys are even able to find me, like the stalkers, I mean. You know, the less and less people are even able to, I mean, and I'll be sitting right in front of them is the thing. And it's like God makes me invisible. It's the weirdest thing. I'm like, what? Because they have eyes, but they can't see me. They can't find me. It's the weirdest thing. God won't blind you to what you're trying to do if it's evil. Especially if it's to his anointed. You have to understand what people stack themselves up against. So, you know, if you're in your divinity and your divine plan that God has laid out for you, and you've surrendered to the Lord, you've surrendered to your higher power, whatever that is for you, you know that you're protected, know that you're safe, know that God doesn't let things like that happen. He just won't. He will literally make you invisible to your enemies. He will make them blind to anyone that they want to harm. It's the truth. It's the weirdest thing, but I've seen it myself. God will always guide you and give you divine answers, his divine answers. Not yours. Don't lean to your own understanding. No, no, no. These are things that the Lord himself has planned for you. And nobody can take that from you. Nobody can make you miss it. Nobody can, I mean, it doesn't matter what they do. People don't seem to understand that the karmic people that are operating in their karmic energy, they really don't seem to understand this. There's literally nothing that they could do. Nothing. To make you operate in your karmic energy. There's nothing. They can't force you. They can't do it. And that must be like ultimately horribly frustrating for your enemies. But like, you know what? I don't ever choose my enemies. They choose me. That's how that's always worked. I've never chosen people's enemies. You know, I've never had any worst enemies other than what people have made themselves be to me. I don't choose my enemies. They choose me. So make sure you're forgiving. Make sure you're clearing your energy, however you do that. Stay grounded. You'll be fine. You'll be more than fine, like way more than fine. And continue to give all praise to the Most High, of course. And just operate out of love. That is the highest and most important commandment that we could possibly ever have gotten and follow, is to love. Because when you're loving, you don't want to murder, you don't want to steal, you don't want to covet things, you don't want to operate in envy, you don't want to, none of that. You don't want to operate in pride. Your ego takes a way back seat, like back seat. You don't operate in any of that energy. So when you operate out of love, purely by default, you're operating in God's will, period. That's how that works. And take it easy on yourselves. Like I was really hard on myself for a while. I always have been, actually, but I always was. But it served me in a lot of ways. But I know that people can be like not just critical of others, but really critical of themselves, and it really doesn't do any good to yourself to be that critical. Like, I said some mean things about myself to myself. It was yesterday morning, and I thought, what? I heard the words come out of my mouth, and I thought, who is that coming from? Because that's not me. I don't feel that way about myself. I don't believe that about myself. So where is that coming from? And that was the moment I knew, it's not my energy. It's not mine. I know it's not. So, return to sender, go fuck yourself, whatever it is you need to do to deal with that, because I'm not dealing with it. I'm just not going to. And, stand in your power with that. Don't back down. Don't second guess yourself. It really is as divinely orchestrated as it seems. It really is as amazing as it seems. It's really as much of a dream come true as it seems to be. Don't doubt that, because the Lord himself orchestrated and planned it all out for you. So, when you're doubting it, you're it's to some extent or other, you're actually doubting the Lord. You're doubting God. You're doubting your higher power. And I really don't suggest anyone do that. So anyway. Excuse me. All praise to the Most High. Always. All praise to God. All praise to the Most High. And operate out of love. Keep yourself grounded. Keep yourself centered. And really, you can't go wrong, is the truth. I've had some amazing downloads for the last, I get them all the time, is the truth. But in the last, I would say 24 hours, it's been like amazing. God has big plans for my life. So no one could stop that. Like, there's just no way. I don't think even I could stop it necessarily. Like, I could probably slow it down if I wanted to, but no, I don't want to. So, I really would like to see God's plan unfold for everybody, the karmics as well. Because, when we leave them out, or when we downplay their roles in our lives, because truly the most hateful, horrible people in my life who have done horrible things to me, some horrible things, as I've explained in previous videos, they were some of my best teachers because I chose to learn from them. Not because they knew that they were teaching me, not because they, because in being horrible to me, they had no intention of me turning it around for good. They had no intention of being good. They had no intention of doing God's will. And yet still they did God's will, even against their will, which is kind of weird. You'd kind of wonder, like, how is that free will? Well, they were still doing what they wanted to do. So you never know who's going to be your teacher. You never really know, you know, you never really know what lesson you're supposed to learn until it's upon you, until it's right there in your face. So keep an open mind, keep your heart open, and just wish everybody the best. And I know that it's hard. I know that people make it supremely difficult. I know they do. They make it so hard to love them. And yet still, that's what we're called to do. Above all else, love one another as I have loved you. 21:31 on the clock when I said that. So I hope everyone's having a blessed day. Literally everyone. Love, blessings, and compassion to literally everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.